Okay, so we've introduced displacement reactions, and now then we're just going to use displacement to try and describe the reactivity of certain metals. So I've got here copper, magnesium and zinc, and three compounds with zinc sulfate, copper sulfate and magnesium sulfate. And I'm going to be using a dimple tray, a pipette to transfer the compounds, and a spatula for the metals, okay? And as with any experiment, I need to make sure nothing's dangling down, and I need my goggles on. So here we go then. So I'm going to put some magnesium, no, this is zinc powder, just a little bit of zinc powder here and here, a little bit of overspilling, which isn't ideal. Oh dear, I have to crop that out of the video. Okay, so there's my zinc powder. And the next one along, I'm going to put my copper. So here's my copper. Okay, and lastly then, I've got my magnesium. Just a little drop of this one. There we go. Okay, so I've only got 2 dimple trays of each because I'm not going to worry about reacting copper sulfate with copper or zinc sulfate with zinc, because there's not going to be a reaction. Because remember, we need a more reactive metal to come along and displace it, and obviously copper is not more reactive than copper, it's just going to be the same, okay? So I'm going to start off then by taking, so here's my zinc metal, and I'm going to take my copper sulfate and just put a couple of drops in here using a pipette. Right, keep an eye out for a reaction. Ready? Okay, nothing there really. Can we see that? No colour change. We've still got the zinc metal and the copper sulfate. Okay, so there's no reaction with zinc and copper. Okay. Right, what about magnesium and zinc? Let's have a look. Magnesium sulfate and zinc. Okay, and again, there's nothing happening. Now, I thought I know, I think there should be a reaction between copper and zinc, but it's okay, it's not always the most obvious. A little stir. No, okay. Right, we're going to move on now then to the copper. So I'm going to put some zinc sulfate in first of all. Is there a reaction? No, there's not. How about my magnesium sulfate then? Okay, again, no reaction. I'm just going to grab another pipette. Can we see a colour change there? Yes, we can. So this colour change is a sign of reaction. So that was zinc with copper sulfate, and we have had a slight reaction there, not much. Okay, now then, I'm hoping things will start getting a bit more interesting for you, for 7. So I'm going to put some copper sulfate then into my magnesium. Now then, are we going to see a reaction? Okay, there we go. Can we see that slight bit of fizz in there? It's not the most obvious. Ah, now it is. There we go. Okay, so we've got a nice bit of fizzing, just a sign of reaction. So what's happening there then is one of these displacement reactions. We are turning copper sulfate into just copper on its own, and the magnesium is taking its place and making magnesium sulfate. Okay, what about zinc then with magnesium? Okay, let's leave that for a few moments. Okay, and again, we're starting to see this fizz in here as well. Not the easiest thing to see, but it is there, it's happening. So magnesium has reacted with both, copper has reacted with none, and then the zinc reacted with the copper sulfate only, okay? So there we go. Fill in the table on the next slide and try to figure out which of these metals then is the most reactive.